Hello everyone, greetings of the day. This is Komal Mathur, a legal intern at Lexis & Company and a law student at Manipal University, Jaipur. I'm glad to have this opportunity to intern with Lexis & Company, and which is why I'm presenting this video here. So the topic or purpose of today's video is to discuss the case of Bennett Coleman and Company and others versus Union of India and others. So let us start. First of all, the petitioner in this case was Bennett Coleman and Company and others. Respondent was Union of India and others. Date of judgment was 30th October 1972. The bench was a five-judge bench, and which included Justice Sikri, Justice S.M. Ray, A.N. Reddy, P. Jagmohan Mathew, Kotiyal Kurian, Begum Ahmedullah. So these were the five justices which were included in this five-judge bench which decided for this case. So the facts of the case are the petitioners in this case were media conglomerates involved in the publication of newspaper. They challenged the restrictions on the import of newsprint under the Import Control Order of 1955 and on the manner in which this is used by newspapers under the Newsprint Order of 1962. Further, the newsprint policy of 1972-73 replaced further restriction based on the four features. First, that no new newspaper may started by establishment owning more than two newspapers if at least one of those started by the establishment is a daily newspaper. Then the second point was the total number of pages may not exceed 10. Then the third was increase in number of pages may not be more than 20% for newspaper that are under 10 pages. And finally, no interchangeability of newsprint may permit between different newspapers of the same establishment or between different editions of the same paper. Therefore, the petitioners were not allowed to make adjustments in the circulations, etc. under these newsprint policies even within the quota limit. This was challenged for the violation of Article 19, Subclause 1A of the Indian Constitution. Then the respondents argued that the petitions were not maintained because companies do not enjoy fundamental rights which are available only to the natural persons. Further, the respondent argued that the Article 358, the Constitution's provision for emergency power, barred any challenge on grounds of fundamental rights. They also proposed a subject matter test of restriction rather than the effects test. Accordingly, the restrictions were valid because they regulated the commercial operations of newspapers in order to prevent the monopolies, by which any effect on freedom of expression was incidental. Finally, they asserted the question of whether newsprint's import must be increased was a question of policy that could not be challenged on any grounds except malafide. Now, what were the issues raised in these cases? The first issue was whether the petitioner, being company, could invoke fundamental rights. Second issue was whether Article 358 of the Constitution was a bar to any challenge by petitioner on violations of the fundamental rights. Whether the third issue raised was whether the restriction on newspaper import under the 1955 order was a violative of Article 19(1)(a) of the Constitution. The fourth issue which was raised that whether the newsprint policy fell within Clause 5, Subclause 1 of the Import Control Order of 1955 and was valid. Then the fifth issue was whether Clause 3 and 3A of Clause 3 of the 1962 newsprint order were violative of Articles 19(1)(a) and 14 of the Constitution. Whether Remark 5, 7A, 7C, 8 and 10th of the newsprint policy of 1972-73 were violatives of the Article 19(1)(a) and 14 of the Constitution because of the following objectionable features. Now, what were the arguments or the contentions raised? On merit, the court noted that freedom of the press was an essential element of Article 19(1)(a) and the absence of an express mention of such freedoms as a special category was irrelevant. Free press was to be regarded as an essential element of freedom of expression in general. The court also observed that shortage of newsprint could be tackled by the fixing of quotas. However, direct interference in the terms of page limits and other such regulation was not justified. The page limit meant that the newspaper would either lose economic viability due to the reduction in advertisements or be forced to reduce news content. This would limit freedom of expression because in the first case circulation would drop due to the increased cost, and the second there were quantitative restrictions on the content. The court observed that freedom of the press had both quantitative and qualitative elements, and therefore the quantitative controls constituted restrictions on the freedom of expression. Since they were not justified on the basis of the shortage of newsprint, they could be considered to be a reasonable restriction. The court held that the newsprint policy of the 1972 and 1973 was unconstitutional. However, the newsprint order and the import control order were considered not to be the source of these restrictions and were not struck down. Then the J. Begg, in the concurrence, observed that the newsprint policy of 1972-73 was outside the scope of import control order, which provided only for fixing of quotas and no further interference. Therefore, the question of whether the restrictions were reasonable did not arise. As the government action had no basis in the first place, J. Matthew in the dissent observed that there are no direct regulation on the content and that the restriction on number of pages did not mean any abridgment of freedom of expression. He reasoned that the control of newsprint and regulating its distribution was necessary to ensure that it is efficiently utilized. Insofar as it made newsprint utilization efficient and prevented monopoly by a few newspapers, the policy expanded rather than abridged freedom of speech and expression. He disagreed that with majority judgment and held that policy was not unconstitutional. Now, what was the final judgment for this case? Justice J. Ray delivered that the opinion of the court is as a preliminary question. The Supreme Court observed that the petitions are maintainable. The fact that the petitioners were company was not a bar to award relief for violation of rights of the shareholders and the editorial staff who were also the petitioners. Further, the bar under the Article 358 did not apply to the laws passed before the proclamation of the emergencies, and therefore the newsprint policy could be challenged as a continuation of the previous year's policies and relevant orders. While acting under Section 398 and 402 of the Company Act of 1956, the court has ample jurisdiction and very wide powers to pass such orders and give direction as it thinks fit to achieve the object, and same will not be violative of Section 255. So that's it for today. Thank you. Have a nice day.